Hi, I'm Jenny Wetter with Infinity Real Estate, and Enzo and I are here in Ansich Park on a beautiful day today, and I'm looking forward to having a conversation with John and Marjorie McLeod. They are retirees who've been in Gig Harbor for about 6 years, and they're very active in the Gig Harbor Dragon Boat Club. So I'm excited to hear more and teach you more about the dragons and other great things about retirement lifestyle here in Gig Harbor. Hi, I'm Jenny Wetter with Infinity Real Estate, and today we're continuing our series on active and vibrant retirement in Gig Harbor. And I am so excited for a couple reasons today. One, the sun is out and it's beautiful, and so we're downtown. But I am here with Marjorie and John McLeod, and we're gonna have a fun chat about how and why they're here and some of their favorite activities, and I'm just excited. So thank you for being here.
Thank you. It's our pleasure and honor to be part.
Oh, thanks. Very cool. So, first question everybody asks, how long have you been in Gig Harbor?
So we've lived in Gig Harbor since 2018.
18.
Yes.
Okay. And then the next question everybody asks is, why did you pick Gig Harbor?
It was because of our daughter.
Okay.
We are from California, and she was in high school, and when it came time to decide what college to go to, the only requirement for her was that she wanted to go to school where it rained, because in California during her whole high school career it never rained. And so she picked University of Puget Sound.
Okay.
In Tacoma, and was
Probably
there from,
rather appropriately, since it rains once or twice.
It rains a few times a year, from 2014 to 2018. And we'd come to visit her maybe once or twice a year. And one time we stayed in Gig Harbor.
Okay.
And we were walking around the harbor here and said to each other, you know, if the opportunity ever arose to retire, this would be a great place.
Awesome.
Opportunity arose. And in 2018, the day after she graduated from UPS, our house closed here in Gig Harbor. So we've been here since then.
That's awesome. Now, did your daughter stay here, or did she head off somewhere else?
Let's see. We bought the house. She lived in the house for about 6 weeks because she was 1 unit shy of graduating. She got to walk, but she was 1 unit shy of graduating because she was part of the junior year abroad program.
Okay.
So she was 1 unit shy. So she lived in the house actually for the 6 to 8 weeks that she was in school. And then she moved to New Zealand. She lives in New Zealand now and loves it, and has been there ever since.
Okay. So do you get to New Zealand?
We've been twice now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've actually heard, I've not been to New Zealand myself, but I've heard that the landscape is comparable to what it looks like here. And I've had other people tell me that they've traveled all over, but it's always nice to just come home. What is your experience been?
I would agree with that the landscape is very similar to Washington, very similar to California.
Oh, okay.
And Helen was very comfortable there. For our visits to see her, we're only 45 minutes from SeaTac.
Here, you mean?
Living here in Gig Harbor, only 45 minutes from SeaTac. So that just makes it very easy to get to her. It's a long flight, but you know, given the proximity to the airport, it's very doable and enjoyable. But we are happy that she's there because we like to travel.
Good. Oh, that's fantastic. Very cool. So getting back to Gig Harbor, and so you've been here, what is that now, for six or so years?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Tell me about what it was like well, I should go back. Did you know a lot of people? You didn't when you moved here, right?
We didn't know anybody when we moved here.
Well, we knew one.
We knew one, Marjorie's sorority sister. And otherwise we relied on Gig Harbor new neighbors, and that was the start of it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So how did you find the community in terms of Like, did you find it was relatively easy to integrate? Did you find it was difficult to meet people? How would
Well,
you...
we're pretty outgoing people.
Okay.
And I think that helped. And we were ready for a change,
Okay.
you know, coming here. So we were really open to a lot of different activities, churches, clubs.
Okay.
And it just happened that the Gig Harbor New Neighbors was the first one that we were involved with. But the sorority sister that John just mentioned once gave me a rack card when I first got here, a rack card that was at the Chamber of Commerce that had Gig Harbor dragon boats.
Okay.
And it said on there, "We want your body." And I can't, you know, that was like a real catchy thing for me.
Right?
And so I held on to that for quite a while. And then once we were having dinner over at Anthony's, and the Gig Harbor Dragons were paddling around the harbor, because they do it 4 times a week. And I ran out to the deck that Anthony's has there and saw them, and I just watched them, and I said to myself and then to John, I could do that. And John said, okay, do it.
Go for it.
So I've been part of the Gig Harbor Dragons for probably 3 or 4 years now.
Okay.
And John,
I joined 6 months later.
yeah,
great.
Because
yeah.
all the members of the Dragon Boat Club are saying, John, when are you going to join? We need more guys on the boat.
Yeah,
Great. Okay, I'll join.
Well,
it's been fun.
great.
It's been fun.
Okay, so tell me about dragon boating in general. Give us the 101, if you will, because I don't think, I bet there's lots of people who have not even heard of dragon boating, much less all the cool stuff about it. So.
You want to take that?
Okay, I could try it. Dragon boat is kind of a neat sport in that it requires some coordination. It requires a lot of camaraderie with your teammates, but the key is being in sync with the rest of your team when you're paddling. And then you start developing the strength of your stroke, the form of your stroke, and it's not an overnight process. We're still learning 2-3 years later.
Yeah.
We're still needing improvement and still working on it, because you just can't master it all in one day. It's a continuous journey, and it's just fascinating. And and meanwhile, the whole boat has gotten stronger and stronger over time.
So how many people are in a boat? My only experience is really with rowing, and the most is 8. So how many people are in a dragon boat?
We have 3 boats, and 2 of the boats are 20 people boats. Where
20 people.
20 people.
in a boat with in addition with the coach in the front and the steerman in the back, so 22 total. And then we have one boat that's a 10-person boat.
Okay.
And it's smaller, but just as fun.
So the 20-person boat it's 2 people to a bench, so there's 10 benches, and a paddle, and 2 people on the bench. One paddle's on the right side and one paddle's on the left side.
Okay.
John talked about it. It's the camaraderie that is so attractive, and it's the competitiveness of the people.
Okay.
And it's the inclusion of people. There are people on our team who are 27, maybe even younger, 27 years old, on up to 82, 83 years old.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And it's so, if you want to be involved in a group that has a wide age range and also interests, that this is really a great place to be, because it's not just old people.
Okay, well, that was going to be my next question is it just retirees? And
No.
you answered that
No.
perfectly. So
No.
that's really cool, though,
Yeah.
that there's people of all ages.
Yes.
So what about skill sets? Like, did you know how to paddle? Were you
And
water
paddle
lovers?
canoe, that's
Okay.
it. So
I didn't know how to do this. I mean,
Okay.
yeah, paddling a canoe was about it. And that's another wonderful thing about this particular club. Probably a lot of dragon boat clubs as well, but this particular club, you can come in with no experience, and there's a lot of opportunity to learn with the coaching staff. It's all volunteer.
Okay.
You know, is another thing about dragon boating here in Gig Harbor. It's not, no one's paid. You know.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and we've been very very appreciative of the commitment that our coaches and our steers people and even our paddlers have to this organization. It's really cool. It's just really cool. Yeah.
That's very cool.
So we practice all year round. Even we go out there at 5:30 at night in the winter time when it's dark. We have little wristbands so the coach can see where our stroke is. And we're out in the harbor and you just see these little lights going up and down. It's really cool because you're out there by yourself in the harbor. You see the seals, you see the bald eagle, and other wildlife. And it's just really cool. But yes, we do practice all year round. Mm-hmm. We avoid days that are windy and rainy and snowy. But otherwise, we're out there. There's some people that go away for the winter, live in Arizona.
Okay.
But they come back and pick up paddling in the springtime. And so we have and then there's some people that just I don't want to paddle in the winter time. They choose not to.
That's fine too.
That's fine too. But it is a year-round sport. We practice for the summer where we have about 5 races every year. Mm-hmm. We go to Victoria, Vancouver, Portland, Salem,
Kent.
This weekend we're going to Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
And there we're competing against other dragon boat teams. Some are club teams that are very good, and other teams are just like ours, just volunteers or very recreational. So you have the whole range of competition.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then do you compete against all of them, or are there club levels? Like, is there a rec club versus a,
We
really high level
compete
club?
against all of them,
Okay.
and then as the first 2 races are kind of like time races, and then they say, okay, now for the finals, you're going to race with people that have similar times.
Yeah.
And we're kind of in that gray area where we're not as good as the clubs, but we're competing with them in that bracket.
Great.
And so
We're doing well because people are really committed to this. They just think it's grand, and we do too. I mean, sometimes there are clubs as far away as California that come up for some of these. And so I don't think we've ever had anyone from farther away than California, but it'll be interesting. And there's a women's team mixed, men and women. There's senior C, which is the older people. Geez, I wonder who they are. And open, sometimes open. So it just depends on how the hosting Dragon Boat Club wants to run it.
Right.
We're just happy that there's usually 60 to 80 people on our team that participate in this. And so it's a pretty big group. Regularly with just the day or the weekly practices, we have 4 practices a week that we can participate in. There usually are 40 to 50 people who are participating. And so that's, that just kind of tells you something, that it's a lot of fun. And people want to get better, and people want to have the camaraderie, and people want to just participate. It's great.
And I learned recently that dragon boating is the 2nd most popular sport in Canada. And in
Just
United
behind
States,
hockey.
It's the fastest growing sport.
The team is doing really well. Now, we've only had 2 races so far for our race season. And as John mentioned, there'll be like about 5 or 6 races that we're participating in. And Tacoma was the first one, and we did well. The 3 teams that were involved, one received the gold in their division. That was my team. and then the other 2 teams received the bronze in their divisions. And we felt really good about that for the first race to have happen. So all teams medaled.
You mentioned you have 4 boats. Do you get placed in a boat based on a skill level, or how does that work?
So our coach is involved with deciding who's going to be in which boat, for the races as well as the practices. And it is a weight issue, so she knows all of our weights, and we're supposed to keep her informed if our weight ever exceeds or goes below a 5-pound range.
Plus or minus 5.
Plus or minus 5 pounds. And she determines where we're going to sit, so that the boat is always balanced side to side and front to back.
And also by strength. And so she knows where the strong paddlers are. And every time we get seated for a race, it's different.
It's different.
Okay, so it's always different.
It's
so
always
you
different.
practice with different people all the time?
Yeah.
There's 3 parts. There's the strokers, who are the first 3 or 4 benches, 2 definitely, first 3 or 4 benches, they're called the strokers. And then there's the engine room, which is usually the larger, taller, stronger people, but not very much difference in strength because the whole boat is strong. And then the back 2 or 3 benches are called the turbos. And usually they're very, very strong people, but usually shorter in stature because the benches, the boat goes like that. Okay, so the smaller people are going to be in the front on benches that are tighter together. We're in the middle where the benches have a little bit more room, which we're very happy about. And we're not often in the back where the benches are tight again. So it is like a canoe.
Yeah.
It's a curved thing. So curved boat.
You mentioned the camaraderie. Do you then, I'm guessing, you don't just get together on the water? Do you end up
That's a
doing
good
lots
question.
of other things together?
That's a very good question. Yes. The answer is yes. In fact, we'll have a holiday party. We'll participate in the Maritime Parade.
saw you
Which,
in the parade.
yeah, we were
Looks
just
great.
there. It's pretty happy, a pretty good group there. Just get-togethers. We've started a pickleball group. There's a book club group.
There's a knitting group.
There's a knitting group.
I'm not in that one.
There's a movie group. So, and we get together at each other's houses too. So it's more than just being on the water. That might have brought us together, but there are some real strong friendships that have developed because of it.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
So do you feel like that the dragons have been one of the primary ways that you've integrated into the community and felt welcomed and comfortable
I think
here?
so.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Dragon boating, Gig Harbor New Neighbors, a lot of different places. And then just having downtown. I really enjoy being part of downtown and living near here. And then having uptown, some of the stores up there and the restaurants up there are really terrific. It's really been a great place to land.
Yeah. Good. So do you see this being your forever place? I suppose depending on where your daughter lands, but
Well, we also have a son.
Oh, okay.
And he is in California. So both of our 2 children are launched, as they say. I tease John, the house where we are. I have said to him, I am leaving this house feet first.
there you go.
So yes, the answer is yes. We
Good.
plan to retire here for a long time and
Oh, I
live here
love
for a
hearing
long time.
that. You feel the same way?
I feel the same way.
Great.
Of course, grandchildren come along and that could change
Yeah, that
everything.
would change everything.
But-
We have
Tell
no
you what,
grandchildren.
in the last few years, that's a big reason people either leave or sometimes
Yeah.
come here. Is
Yeah.
once grandkids come along,
Yeah.
everything changes.
Yeah, that might be something.
Well, in the
But we won't go there yet.
It's
Yeah.
just great to have you here, and
Thank you.
know, thanks for being such great members of our community. So, what are some of your other favorite things to do? I know you obviously spend a lot of time dragon boating and whatnot,
Right.
but what are some other favorite things?
So when we moved up here, we thought we'd be hiking quite a bit, and there are so many beautiful places to go hiking. Each the Olympic National Park and Mount Rainier National Park are just hour and a half, 2 hours away either way, and we can go on day hikes or make it a weekend trip, and that's so nice. We enjoy taking our kayaks and paddle boards out in the harbor. One of our favorite things to do is take the kayaks over to the Tuesday concert at Scansy
sure.
Park.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
And
In
we
the
go over
summer.
there in our kayaks and
live on the other side
avoid
of
all
the
the
harbor.
traffic and all the other things that go on.
Oh, you come from your house
Yeah.
over. Oh,
Yeah.
lucky you.
We come from Randall Drive,
Nice.
boat
launch.
launch,
Perfect.
and just do that. That's fun.
That's fun.
And yeah, there's kayaks to rent here on the harbor. The gondola is fun to take
Have you
people.
done it?
Have done
Oh,
it. Yeah,
great. I haven't
that's
done that
really
yet.
really fun. There's a new business starting up, electric Duffy boat. That will also be doing tours of the harbor very soon. So there's
Great
just
when family comes to town.
great
You
when
have
family
visitors.
exactly, and that's the kind of stuff that we enjoy being outside and being in Gig Harbor. Even when the weather is not quite as nice,
Right.
it's wonderful to be outside and be involved in it. When the weather's nice like this, and she's out,
Yeah, she, as we
She's
call it,
out.
she or he.
it's just great it's a great community. So
And it's nice having the city so close because we do go up to
100%.
Seattle.
yeah,
We go to Jazz Alley every once in a while and go see
Yeah.
concerts there.
Yeah.
And we've been to some of the museums, and it's just been, that's been
yeah.
a great part.
And Tacoma is nearby. I mean, and then the Harbor History Museum. I
Isn't
don't
that
want to forget
amazing?
about the
We're a
Harbor
small
History
town
Museum.
And we have a great
That is a
history
great museum.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll take our friends and our family there every time. We're members there, and it's just good to support that beautiful little museum. It's they're doing a great job.
We have such a rich history here.
Yes.
And the community's done such an amazing job of holding on to
Yeah.
it and preserving it.
Yeah. Mhm.
But to have a museum like that in this small little town is pretty
It's
amazing.
pretty amazing.
Okay, and I'm going to tell you, the Y is really terrific.
Well, the Y is another place we're going to highlight. So, well, I want to thank you both for joining me today on such a
welcome.
beautiful day and
Thank you.
sharing all these great things about Gig Harbor and specifically about the dragons. I think I'm going to have to go home and prod somebody that he's going to have to he's going to have to try it out.
Especially if he almost beat the Canadian team.
No, right? Well, thank you again
Thank you.
so much.
Thank you.